tourist park. And in these days, we have already received a lot of tourists here. And today we're also suggesting a staggered visiting to this area. Usually at noon, we can have a bigger number of tourists here. If you can start out your journey early in the morning or towards the sunset, then you can also enjoy a different facet of this beautiful scenery. And together with us, we have Mr. Han Qinglong, the Director General and President of the Baili Azalea Tourist Group. Welcome, dear viewers. Good afternoon. You are now watching our live streaming program taking place in the largest national forest park with azaleas in the whole world. So today is the work day. We can see a lot of tourists are still coming to visit this wonderful area, and we can expect to see the surging number of the tourists in the coming holidays. And since we also have some precaution measures for the COVID-19, we have the control of the flow to 50,000 people per day. We also have other measures to propose a staggered visits among our tourists. If the total number of the visitors reach the ceiling number 50,000, then we will send a notice to all the coming tourists that they should just stop and try another date. For those tourists who really love the flowers and really would like to pay a visit to your National Forest Park of Azalea, what can they do? First of all, they could book a ticket in our official website. And we also have different branches of visiting sites. So they could choose to go to another place if here we have the top number of those tourists. So always you have to respect the staggered visiting rules. And here in our region, we have the king tree of the azalea with an age of more than 1,600 years. That's why we have received such a great number of tourists here. They're all coming here to see this really ancient tree of azalea. As you have mentioned, if people would like to come, they could first book a ticket online, and later they will come to visit this old tree of more than 1,000 years ago. What are the other measures? We have this program of one ticket for 3-day visit. First of all, you will book a ticket online, and later on you will receive the guidelines from our official website, sharing with you the information about the nearby hotel rooms and also the other facilities of the services to the tourists, so that we are creating a very good environment to enable your visit here. So for this one ticket 3-day visit, it's a really good measure to attract more tourists. And for example, if you are blocked in the traffic jam and you cannot make it by due time, you don't have to worry anymore, because with one ticket, you can have the right to visit this place within the next 3 days to come. If you cannot make it this day, you will just spend the night here. You will book a hotel room and you can visit the next day. And here we are surrounded by all different types of flowers and in different colors. And we also refer to the Baili Azalea National Forest Park as a colorful strip or a band of our planet. And we call it the Ma Yin Azalea. We can also do some calculation to see how many flowers are there. So maybe we can have a guess. I've just calculated here we have only a cluster of 8 flowers. Sorry, I made a mistake. It must be 10 flowers because I missed the 2 flowers on the other side. And this morning, I've discovered a much bigger cluster with 18 flowers, and you can imagine how beautiful that is. So for those interested in making a visit here, don't forget to book a ticket in advance. You can use the mini program about the tourism in Guizhou, and then you can buy the ticket online. And now I'd like to show you how to book your ticket online. We have this one code to visit Guizhou. So we have some signal problems. It takes some time. So please go to this mini program called One Code to Visit Guizhou. And then you can follow the guidance to find the place in order to book a ticket. Every day there are 3 possible window times: in the morning, at noon, and also in the afternoon. In the very beginning, I wonder why this division of time. If we have enough number of tourists here paying a visit to this place, then we will just block this window time. And now I will just pass the microphone to you. Just now, my colleague Chun Xiao has revealed this whole park to all of you, and we have admired the beautiful colors of this park. And you can see that we have received a lot of tourists coming to this area for the visit. And today we are in the Baili Azalea National Forest Park. Why we call it the palette of the planet? We have invited Mr. Huang Fei, the Director General of the Local Administration of Tourism. Good afternoon, dear viewers of CCTV. I'd like to give you an invitation to visit our place, but also don't forget to take your trip and also make your visits in a staggered manner. As we know that we have a lot of visitors coming to this area at the same time. Here inside the Baili Azalea National Forest Park, we have multiple different types of it. Here we have the greatest diversity of those species of varieties of the azalea in the whole world, and they are in different colors. For example, the pink ones, the purple ones, the red, and also the yellow. The whole picture is really amazing. It's fantastic. It's like the sea of the flowers. And you know that usually azalea would be growing on the hills. And here we're also at a very good geographic locations in order to give the wonderful conditions for the growth of the trees of azaleas. And here we can find the greatest variety of the azalea varieties, and this surface covered by the trees and flowers of azalea, it's the only of its kind in the whole world. And that's why today we have received so many tourists coming to our region to see in their own eyes the azalea blossoming. Apart from the different categories of the azaleas, we also have these wonderful colors of the azaleas. Just now I made the tour. I've also noticed that they have different forms and shapes of the branches and also the stems. And you can also tell the age of the tree of azalea by its branches and also the stem and trunk. You can also leave us some questions. The flowers are better here, so maybe we can move over there. For example, this tree in the yellow color is called the Tuanhua azalea. It's in the light yellow color. And also, we have the Miren azalea. And Miren in Chinese language means attractive. And the language of this flower, azalea, means always belong to you. We believe that azaleas are just like the beautiful ladies. In order to prepare for the blossoming season, they have to wait for a long period of time, as much as 10 months. It's like the total length of the pregnancy days of a mother. So we also call this tree of azalea the tree of the mothers. And for us, we have to be the protector of those azalea flowers. What about these? They look really fresh. They are not wild azalea. Instead, they are cultivated by our research strength. First of all, we have collected the seeds from the wild azaleas. And later, we have used most advanced science and technology to modify its performance. We have invited a person in charge for the cultivation of the azaleas. For those cultivated pots of azaleas, could you please give us some introduction? Good afternoon, dear viewers of CCTV. We'd like to talk about the natural wild azaleas and also the artificially cultivated ones. Many experts have applied the advanced technologies to improve the growth and performance of these flowers of azaleas. We have to independently develop technologies to cultivate the azaleas for the commercial purposes. We know that the blossoming season is very short, usually for azalea. For example, every year for a window time of 45 days, and that may be a big challenge for our local tourism sector. Once the flowers are gone, how could we manage to attract more tourists in the other following months? So in this case, we have to find a solution. For the natural wild azaleas, they will enter into the blossoming season by March and finally end by May. And with the artificially cultivated azaleas, they can also embrace the blossoming even in December. Thanks to the high tech, we can see the azalea blossoming in December, and if the tourists want, they can also take the flower pots together with them back home in order to celebrate the traditional Spring Festival. We have also noticed that those azaleas have different colors and also different fragrance. For this type of azaleas, we have at least 3 varieties. This is the simple version. We have the high mountain category of azaleas. We have first collected the seeds from the Mayin azalea in order to develop our artificially cultivated flowers. And finally, the artificial cultivated ones can give us bigger flowers compared to the original natural ones. And this is also a new variety developed. It smells really good, so it's one of my favorites. Maybe they are smaller in size for the flowers. However, I believe it will be a very good choice for the home decoration. Later on, we will also pay a visit to a very tall tree of azalea. You can imagine how many years does it take for a tree to grow to such a height. And now I'd like to ask my colleague to show you some footage so you can see the bigger picture of this whole area of the Baili Azalea National Forest Park. Now I'll give you just 10 seconds. And we can enjoy the wonderful sight of the blossoming azalea. The total area covered by those blossomings is 125 square kilometers. Because this year we have warmer weather conditions in March, so we have entered the blossoming season in advance. We can see different colors of the azalea, the pink, the white, the light yellow. In total, we have 40 different varieties of the azaleas here in the National Forest Park. And in these days, we have a lot of sunshine, which can help us to better enjoy the beauty of the azaleas here. We believe that the total palette of the colorful azaleas just look like the patterns on the tissue on the cloth. And now we have a question how we can benefit from the blossoming season of the azalea to help the local farmers and residents to increase the income, so that we can also develop some tourism-based economy for this area. And even after the blossoming season of the wild natural azaleas, we should find other ways to prolong the life of the tourism here. In this case, we have to extend the life cycle of the azaleas and also to extend the industrial chain. So again, I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Huang. Could you please tell us your measures and your plans to extend the business of azalea, and also how can we benefit from the blossoming season of the azalea to enrich the people living in the surrounding area? The Baili azalea has covered this whole area of 125 square kilometers. In order to stretch a little bit the value chain of the azalea and also increase people's income by diversifying their sources of income, we have made up a lot of plans. We have 3 pillar industries: the flowers, the spring, water, and also the healthcare for the elderly persons. For example, the flowers, this sector is mainly managed by a leading company here. They have cultivated a lot of artificially cultivated flowers, and later those flowers would be sold in the certain flower markets. And in the surrounding areas, we also encourage the residents to set up their own agro-tourism. We have a quite limited number of available hotel rooms. For example, the number of the available beds is only more than 10,000. And currently, we can basically meet the demand of our tourists. However, in recent days, because we have a rising numbers of tourists coming here to see the azaleas, so sometimes there's the shortage of hotel rooms. That's why we highly recommend you to come in a staggered way. And since you know we have this program of 1 ticket for 3-day visit, so inside our scenic spots area, you can spend all 3 days. You can stay in the hotel for the first day just to admire the quiet scenery, the sunrise, the sunset, and the second day you can go out into the mountains to have a tour in our National Forest Park of the Baili Azalea. Yesterday during our visit, I noticed that many local people have already renovated their houses in order to prepare more hotel rooms for the tourists. I've also communicated with the local people here. They have generated much more income. So today we have a special guest with us, dressed in very beautiful clothes. Could you please introduce yourself first? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hu Qing. I work here in the Baili Azalea National Forest Park. You are very well dressed. It's very elegant and beautiful. Is it from an ethnic minority? Yes. This is the dress for the young ladies from the ethnic minority Yi. Maybe you can stand over there with the beautiful Ma Ying azalea. And now we'd like to give you the answer to the question, how can we tell the age of the tree? Do you know how old is the tree? Would you want to have a guess? And madam, are you a native here? Yes. I came here during my middle school days, and then I stayed for higher education, and also I found a job here. Have you noticed significant transformations of your city? Yes. In the past, most of the people have to quit the hometown to find a job elsewhere, but now we can find a job near home. When did you take this photo? It was in 2007, when we have just created the Baili Azalea National Forest Park. by then, we don't have the cemented road. We only have the mud road. Why have you decided to keep this photo this long? Because it's been more than 1 decade. It's almost the 2 decades that you took this photo. Because I was so impressed and touched by this photo. In the past, we are living in very poor conditions, and my parents by then had to quit the hometown in order to find a job elsewhere, and I was left behind here. But now, people have better lives. Inside our tourist area, we can create a lot of jobs. For example, the keepers, and also some other employees to pick up the tea leaves and also take care of the gardens. And inside, we also have a surface of 45,000 mu of tea gardens with the tea trees and also other plantations. We also need a lot of safety guards and also the employees for the tourist services. That's why we can accommodate all the people here. So after hearing this story, I'm also very much touched, because you don't need to quit your hometown. You can stay near home and also find a job. And in these days, because we have the blossoming season of the azalea, we have to stay very late inside the scenic spots. But if I have the chance, I will just go back home and visit my parents during the weekend. Today, the whole city has changed because we have this agro-tourism. We also have the flower-based tourism. This means more income sources. And also, many other nearby counties, they also would like to be integrated into this system of the Baili Azalea National Forest Park. And nowadays, we have much better road conditions. If the nearby towns could be integrated into the Baili Azalea National Forest Park, then for the people there, it's also a very good news, because they can also have the chance to embrace a better life. And I think the color of your dress matches very well with the color of the flowers. Here we have 2 zones. One is called Puji and another is called Jingbo. If you drive your own car, you can go to Puji district for the visiting of the Baili Azalea. It's very easy. If you don't know how to drive, you can just take the high-speed railway. And in Puji area, you have to visit the colorful pavilion. And there you can also take the shuttle bus in order to go inside the spots of the scenery. And you can also take wonderful photos inside. It's a must-see spot for our tourists. And here we'd like to give a small tip to our viewers. If you come to this area, please don't forget to take all the waste together with you. Don't throw the garbage anywhere you want, because we have to make our own part of contribution to protect the environment here, and it's also forbidden to pick the flowers. If you do that, you will be severely punished, because we have this regulation in place. We have to protect the nature and the environment. So, did you hear that, dear viewers? If you come to this place, please be polite and also be friendly to the environment, and also respect all the rules to protect our Baili Azalea. And this lady, as we can see, that she's native and she's fully attached to this area of the Azalea, and she has witnessed the whole period of transformation of this region. And now we can see that we have achieved wonderful results. People have greater incomes and they can find a job near home. And today we are also coming up with new ideas and plans in order to better promote tourism here. This year marks the first year of the 14th five-year plan. What is the next plan of development for your area? We have some guests here, so maybe you can give us your introduction about the measures and also your planification for the next 5-year period. Good afternoon, dear viewers. For our management committee of this National Forest Park, for the 14th five-year plan, we have to follow the guidance from the upper authority to build up a whole sector of the azalea and tourism. For example, the spring water and the healthcare, as well as the flowers, the 3 pillars of the economy, would be our future opportunities. At the same time, we can also participate in the revitalization of the countryside. We can grow more flowers here, and in summer, people can come here for the shelter, and also in colder seasons like in autumn and also in winter, people can come to our region for more healthcare programs and also for the well-being. So for 4 seasons throughout the year, you can always find different highlights of tourism in our region. And we will also diversify the choices for our customers and also provide more diversified products to our visitors. So there will no longer be the differences between season and season. Why you say that we can come for shelter in summer? Because in summer, it's really cool here. The annual average temperature here is 19 degrees Celsius. So that's why a lot of people would like to come to our region to spend the summer vacation. Some people who don't know much about this would first give me a phone call before coming to our region asking whether we have the air conditioning system within the rooms. So I told them it's not that necessary to have the air conditioning because it's really cool. You have a wonderful ecosystem that is your edge, and you have to protect the environment so that you can also enjoy a very sustainable development of your tourist sector. And again, to our Mr. Huang, what's your plan for the next stage of development during the 14th five-year plan period? For this period, we will follow the guidance of the provincial government and also the Department of Tourism. Tourism would be considered as one of the pillars of economy. Now we are watching the beautiful blossoming of the azaleas. However, it's not the only ash that we have. For example, we have the 5A scenic spot and also the valleys of flowers and also beautiful rivers, as well as other flowers and vegetations. So this means that we have a broader network of tourist resources. We will try to set up a whole system of tourism, and combined with the strategy of rural revitalization, we can further expand our capacity of accommodation for our tourists. And by this, we can offer better qualities of products to our tourists. And in the end, the Baili Azalea would be one of the most attractive destinations for tourists in terms of the highland tourism for all the tourists. As is mentioned before, the average temperature in summer days here is only 19 degrees Celsius. And it's also a good place for the healthcare and for your well-being. Because here we have really good quality of air, and it's high content of oxygen. So if you come here, you can enjoy the good air, which is really good for your health. Now we are walking through this forest of Azalea, and immediately we are surrounded by the fragrance of this pure air and also clean soil. For the neighboring provinces, a lot of tourists would just come all the way to our province to enjoy our local original green food and also enjoy the spring water bathing as well as the beautiful scenery of the azaleas. And starting by June, the tourists would start to hurry into our region for the shelter in the summer days. And here, standing on the top of the mountain, we can feel the breezes. Our program now almost comes to an end. So everyone would use one sentence to close our session today. For our viewers of CCTV, I hope that you would take the chance and come to this place in person and also keep the good memory of this year's wonderful blossoming of the Baili azaleas. Now to you. Dear viewers of CCTV, I hope that this year or maybe next year you could come to this region to visit the Baili Azalea National Forest Park. And as you know that the beautiful scenery is never framed inside this National Forest Park. Even outside, you can see a lot of scattered beauties and also the glitters of our azaleas. So now we come to the end of our live streaming program today. We'd like to close our session today with the bigger picture of this whole area of the blossoming of azaleas. So see you next time.